Good afternoon. Shawn here with with Accelerators Organization. I'm so used to doing live streams with Ask a Millionaire. Okay, we've got just 4 questions today, but I wanted to get these questions done because I didn't want them to wait too long before members got answers. So we're going to kick this off. It's going to be a nice short one. Remember, you're always going to get your answers sent to you through the mobile application, and you're also, if you did not ask a question, you're also going to get the full mentor session in your mobile application. Here we go. First question comes from Rohit, and Rohit says, how many different items should we have at vendor events? The background is we sell exotic snacks and drinks from all around the world. We've noticed people can't make up their mind as so many different and unique items and eventually leave for that reason. We have about 5 to 6 items per category. Okay, I've got Joel and Todd answering this for you. Personally, I don't have any experience with a vendor type trade show where I'm showcasing a lot of products that people are gonna buy right then. I know Joel has done a lot of flea markets. I tell you, I go to farmers markets and things like that all the time. And one thing that I have noticed is that if it's really easy to understand what is at that booth or at that table via the proper signage, when I walk up, I'll know what are some of the things I'm looking for. And so what you might want to do is incorporate good shelving for different types of chips, cookies, candies, crackers, whatever it might be, and maybe get some secondary signage to make it easy for people to choose which snacks and things they want. Maybe that can help them make a better decision. You also might want to put together pre-done kits with a little bit of each and make it like a bundled package. You know, this package is $10, this one's $20. And that way they can make it easy and pay with a $10 bill or a $20 bill. And then make it obviously easy for them to pay with Stripe or something like that if they're gonna check out. So those are the things that I would recommend. All right, keep us posted, Rohit. The next question comes from Ricardo, and Ricardo says, would you recommend someone to have a trust fund set up? The background is, as I'm getting older, these questions are something to think about, especially for business owners. If any mentors have experience with this, I would appreciate any feedback. If it's necessary, in your opinion, thank you. I've got about 7 different mentors answering this for you, Ricardo. I don't know much about trust funds. I know about trusts as far as irrevocable or revocable trusts as a replacement to a will. For that type of question, it's all going to depend on your assets and your family and what your wishes are if something does happen to you. I would highly recommend talking to an attorney and a CPA as far as the tax consequences to figure out whether setting up a trust fund for your kids, I'm assuming, would be worth it, the expense, or are there other things that you can do to set up things for your kids? Those are certainly things that I would talk about with your accountant, your attorney, and maybe even your insurance agent, okay? It's not something I've ever set up. I'm single, so I don't have a need to set up a trust fund. Okay, the next question comes from Lawrence, and Lawrence says, how can I effectively market and reach potential customers being in the firearms industry if Google and social media does not allow me to do paid advertising? The background is, my business is a firearms manufacturer and custom shop that specializes in firearms customization to include laser graving, laser stippling, Cerakote firearms coating, gunsmithing, and complete firearm custom builds, all of which go hand in hand. Can't have one without the other. Okay, I don't have a lot of experience with advertising in the firearms industry. The first thing that comes to mind for me is if I was a manufacturer, I could probably see how other manufacturers market their guns and then follow those processes. My assumption would be to sell through firearm dealers throughout the country. I know that the firearms world has a ton of like trade shows and conventions and things like that to sell at. So I would probably go to gun stores and firearm stores and find out what would be the best way for me to get my products and services in those stores. That would be a first place I would go to. I would also check to see if there's any magazines specifically for firearms owners. I can't imagine that there's not a lot of industry magazines and trade associations and things like that to where you could advertise to people that are specifically wanting to see information about firearms and the services you provide. So those are the things that come to mind for me. Last question comes from Kelly, and Kelly says, how do I become a better person and treat people better? And how do I learn to communicate as a business owner? How do I learn to communicate with key leadership and mentors in my circle? So the background is owner of Kelco Construction. We are an excavation and trucking contractor for the dirt world in Northern California. The background is it's imperative that I learn to communicate with my mentors, advisors, leaders, banks, etc. Something must have happened to me in the past that changed me in not a good way. I need to figure out what that is, face it, and learn to treat people better, especially the people trying to help me out. Okay, I've got a bunch of different mentors answering this one for you, Kelly, and you and I have talked a little bit about this, and I'm interested to hear how the other mentors would answer this. First off, I think you're automatically displaying that you're a good person and the fact that you want to learn how to be a better person, so kudos to that. That's super amazing that you do want to figure out how to make sure that the niceness and kindness that you have and professionalism and honesty, etc., is displayed in the actions and the words that you live your life by. I would encourage you to start reading some books. I don't know what kind of books can help with being a kind person. I've never read books like that, but I'm sure they're out there. If you just look on Amazon and maybe just start messing around and go down the rabbit hole of searching on Amazon, I'm sure you can find some books. The next thing is, as far as communication, it's another thing I would do. I would probably look to see how to be a better communicator, how to express myself better. Those would be search terms that I would put into Amazon or Google for different books. I know in the AO Resource Center, I've put a ton of articles under communication in the communications category in the Resource Center. So you might want to check that out as well. But here's one thing that I always try to, when I think about communication with my peers, my coaches or mentors, or even people that work with me, or even friends, I really want to learn. I really want to increase my skill set in the areas of active listening. So you might want to Google active listening. Active listening is basically that you're really, sorry, phone call came in. You're really paying attention to what somebody says. And I also think it's good to, when we surround ourselves with the right people, we can be ourselves and we don't, without a fear of somebody judging us or getting upset with us or what have you. And so sharing feelings is always, it can be really tough for some people. And I know it is for you. And I think that maybe getting a therapist or some sort of counselor that can help you understand why you have a difficult time just opening up. They might be able to help you with some activities or things that you can do to develop a better habit around that. It's not something that is my specialty of how to teach someone how to do that. But I think a counselor or a therapist or somebody like that might help you with that. Yeah, I'm not a coach on communication, so it's very difficult for me to know how to get to this. But I think a good place sometimes is a therapist. It just takes time to kind of figure those types of things out. Let me think if I can think of anything around that just off the top of my head that I could help you with. Going back to just you and I's conversation, one of the best things we can do is when we tell somebody that we're going to do something, do it. No excuses, just do it. I know that seems like something we take for granted, but you'll be amazed at how many people say they're going to do something and then don't do it. And it really creates a lack of trust between those two people again. So I think just simply knowing if you say that you're going to do something, do it. And then don't just be nice to say that you're going to do something knowing that you're not going to do it. Don't be afraid to say, well, you know what, I can't commit to that right now. I can try, but don't count on me to do that. But if I can, I will. And at least you're setting up the expectation correctly. I think that that's a lot of things between leaders and especially mentors and mentees, is just honoring our commitment to each other is something that can help build trust and build a good communication and rapport between two people. Let's see if I can think of anything else. Being clear with your intention is always good, because if you can be clear with your intention, the other person at least knows whether or not they can accept it or not accept it or what have you. So being clear with your intention is good. So those are all kind of little things that I can think of off the top of my head. That's a pretty deep topic as far as trying to uncover something that happened in our past that is affecting us today. Generally speaking, in my experience, a therapist or a counselor of some type, they're trained to know how to figure out what those things were in your life that happened and how to overcome those. That's not something that, unfortunately, I am capable of doing from a skill set perspective, okay? But I appreciate you asking that, and I'm looking forward to the other answers that the mentors give you on this one, okay? All right, that's today's mentor session. Don't forget to just log into the mobile application to ask a question. You will get your answers directly in the mobile app on your personal news feed. And if you are if you did not ask a question when a mentor does a mentor session, we put all the mentor sessions in the general news feed of the mobile application in case you want to watch them on the replay, okay? Hope you have a great day. See you all soon. Peace out.